Hello and welcome. I am the Sterling and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last episode, we were attacked by marauders with 2 trebuchets, which gave us the opportunity to finally try out the T.I.T.S. And what did we learn? It's utterly useless. In fact, it's as useless as tits on a bull. Frankly, the T.I.T.S. needs to be bigger and better protected. So in this episode, we need to put the temple on hold and give the T.I.T.S. an upgrade. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. So there is a couple of things I would like to do to the T.I.T.S. First off, I want to close the entrance to the T.I.T.S. here. There is no point us having this entrance so close to this wall. Archers can defend this position via the wall and the towers either side, which makes selling forth to this side of the map completely obsolete. Now look, we're not going to destroy this entrance just in case. We're just going to cover it with flooring. Fantastic. They'll now build that and it'll be closed off to the rest of the T.I.T.S. Then I want to encase the T.I.T.S. by building some form of a defensive enclosure to protect the T.I.T.S. from unwanted visitors. I'm thinking we build towers over the top of the entrance to the T.I.T.S. so the archers can provide cover as our ground forces sally forth to attack the trebuchets, so we don't get into a situation like we did in the last episode. I really hope this plan works, as I've been messing around playing with the T.I.T.S. for quite a while now, and if I can't find a way to make the T.I.T.S. viable, then I'm going to have to cut my losses and just scrap the project. So fingers crossed. Now, the first major hurdle that we have to overcome with these towers is that I've built the staircase directly against the edge of the map. So I can't build here, which ideally, that's the wall of the tower. So the first thing I've got to do for the 3 remaining entrances to the T.I.T.S. is delete the staircases on all 3, shifting them 1 block inwards. So let's get to work. Well, that one was nice and easy. I suspect these ones that are quite a bit higher are going to be a little more difficult, especially this one. I suspect I'm going to have to delete a lot of this just to fit it in. That's going to be an absolute pain in the ass, isn't it? Yes, it is. That is going to be a pain in the ass. Why do I do this to myself? Now, what am I going to do about these stairs? Well, I'm just going to have to delete them. Right, now for this last one. Perfect. Oh, and look, there's some clothes down here. Though we can't pick them up, we're full. And we'll tell them to dig a little bit at the end of each one, because now we're going to push it all out. Perfect. Come morning, they'll destroy all that, and then we'll move on to stage 2. Now, I suspect this will be the first one they destroy. Yes, here they come. Now, it looks as though settlers have become idle. Why? Well, because they've bloody trapped themselves. Right. So now we're going to have to rescue these idiots, as we always have to do. Now, the way we're going to do that is we know that we're going to build this out 1 level. So we're just going to build it out a level and then put the stairs, and that will rescue John. And we'll work our way up, and hopefully they don't freeze to death in the meantime. Yeah, John just so happens to have some limestone up there, and that was all he could do. Sleeping outside is not the best idea. Fantastic. Both our settlers have been rescued. Now, we've run into a bit of a dilemma. We cannot place stairs underneath this archway. See? Can't place under the beam. So we're now going to have to come up with a new idea of how we're going to decorate the outside of this. Now look, it might be as simple as it's stairs either side and then I just flatten that out, which I don't particularly want to do that. Or maybe I can fluff about and do something that will maybe connect into this tower. Maybe I can push the tower out and make it a bit higher. I don't know. Maybe this will end up becoming a bit of a feature piece. Like I said, don't know. We'll just have to have a play and see what we can do. First things first is we just got to get these stairs in so we can get easy access to and from all 3 of these T.I.T.S. entrances, and then we can build the towers on top. So, not knowing how we're going to do anything further, I'll just delete those stairs because I don't know if that's how we're going to do it. Now it's time for me to start planning all this out. So no doubt I'm going to have to dig some of the soil. So let's see if the stairs will fit. No. So we're going to have to dig the dirt, as I thought we would. So we'll dig this one here, this one here, this one here, and hopefully that should be it. This T.I.T.S is nice and easy. It's only 3 levels deep. So we've planned out the stairs. Now we can move on to the fun part, planning the tower. So first off, put a wall in here. Done. Then we're going to put down a floor. Done. Right, there's the base. Now let's build the tower around it. Now we know that there's going to be the wall, and that's going to have to be the wall. I think we're going to make it 5 wide on the inside and 7 across. Just like so. Now, the entrances to the tower are going to be either side. I'm going to want there to be double doors either side, so then when the archers are in the towers and the enemy's banging on the doors, the moment they break through the first lot of doors, we still have time to get the archers out of the tower, back into the T.I.T.S and gone. We don't want there to be a bit of a kerfuffle inside the actual tower itself. We want it to be more of a last-minute ditch. While I'm remembering, I should really put the doors in, shouldn't I? Done. So now the way that we're going to do these little entrances will be really straightforward. Once again, we're using limestone, only because I wouldn't think they'd be using limestone blocks or anything overly special this far away from the keep and castle itself. So we'll just do something simple like that, then we'll use a reinforced door on it. Done. And that's our little entrance. And we'll do one on this side too. Perfect. Now we'll put a roof on it, thinking a wooden roof. There we go. Now, let's start building the next level. So what we'll do is we'll start by putting the limestone stair in, and we'll put a beam across. Done. Now we can put the floor in. We'll use wooden floors. There's the first level. Now we'll go up. Next, once again, the wooden stairs and the beam and the wooden floor. And then rinse and repeat. Now, I guess the big question is, how high do we actually want to build this? This tower in particular could actually be built quite high, because when you have a look, you'd probably see better if we weren't actually doing it at night. But if it was daytime, you would actually see that we're quite low and the castle in the background is really, really high. But no, we're doing it at nighttime because we're doing it at nighttime. But my point that I'm trying to make before I just go off on some sort of rant is that we could make this ridiculously high, which would look great. That would look awesome to have this massive tower. But it comes down to the simple fact that it would actually make the power kind of shit. The reason for that is they're already got to go through this door, down this ladder, then all the way down these stairs, run all the way down here, then run up all these stairs once they're actually being completed, just to get into the tower. Then they've got to run up the tower. Now, if we're getting attacked by trebuchets and our ground forces are waiting downstairs to sally forth to attack, while our archers run up another 20 flights of stairs, it's just ridiculous. The benefit of being higher up is we get the range and the protection, but it's no bloody good to us if it takes them 45 minutes to get up there. Now, to disguise my, incompetence, there is going to be some form of a grand tower built here, only because we can't just do the cheap, easy, nasty way of adding the stairs, as I said. So we're already going to have a ridiculously stupid tower. And this T.I.T.S entrance will also have a basic tower. The reason for this one to have more of a basic tower, I don't want it to overshadow the wall. That's the eye candy over here, not some stupid tower. So I think we're just going to keep it short and simple. Exactly like that. Now, how about I skip ahead and give us some bloody daylight to work with? Ta-da! Isn't that better? So now where was I? Well, we were putting in the last layer, weren't we? So we'll put the floor in. Done. Now we're going to put the merlons in. We're going to use limestone merlons. Ooh, we've come into a bit of a problem. We've built it too close to the red edge and can't now put the merlons overhanging on this side. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll keep them within. I guess it adds something a little different. We'll see how it looks. Okay, actually, I don't mind that. I actually like that. That's something a bit different I haven't seen. I do understand that's going to make defense on these sides not as good, but hopefully majority of our attacks will be coming from here. Now, we definitely need to build a roof on top of here. We can't risk the trebuchets hitting these towers and wiping out our archers. Using timber, we're just going to put them here. Next, we'll put in the wooden beams and the roof. We'll use timber roof. Done. Now, is that roof enough? No. Look, it's not. It will look better than what I have planned, but it's not practical enough, and this, being as low as it is, needs to be practical. So we're going to stick it right in the corners. How's that look? Yes, so that's going to be a lot more practical, even though it doesn't look as nice. But I like that tower. Now, let's just basically build a carbon copy. Here. So now we have two towers. The only difference, this one has an entrance that curves in here. Otherwise, nice little carbon copy of the tower on the other side. Now let's hit play and let them get to work. And there we go. That's the first of the 3 towers complete. I must admit, I think that came up quite well. I do like the bare limestone look. Now it's time to start on the second tower, or so I'd like to. We've got a little bit of a problem. We've got 2,880 limestone bricks, which is fantastic. The problem is we've only got 346 limestone left over. That's not good, especially when this entire tower here and the soon-to-be planned-out tower over here are made completely out of just plain limestone. So we need to mine more. It feels like just 5 minutes ago that I dug all this out and had a huge abundance of limestone. It just goes to show you how much limestone I actually use to build all these projects. I'm actually counting myself lucky that a big chunk of the temple project actually is using clay, because I don't really use clay anywhere else on these projects, and I've got heaps of clay. So I'm just going to go around and find any of these little pockets of limestone, like here, maybe even over here. I might even get stuck into some of these little pockets of the rocky soil, like this one here that's out the front entrance of the castle, just to pick up the limestone nice and quick and easy. There we go, fantastic. Once they dig that out and we got a nice abundance of limestone, we can get back to work. And there we have it. 2 down, 1 to go. Accidentally, out of force of habit, I used clay brick for this one, as you saw. And then I did have just standard limestone merlons. And then once they built a few, and I could see the difference, it didn't work. So I deleted them, as you saw, and then I've gone ahead and built these clay brick merlons. But truth be told, I don't mind it being clay brick here. That way it sort of blends in with the wall. I don't truly believe that. I would have preferred it to have been limestone, but hey, I stuffed up. Got to wear it. So we're just going to pretend like I actually want it to be clay brick, shall we? It's just a little too sophisticated for out here in the sticks, isn't it? But then again, it's not too far away from the castle itself, So it is believable that they would actually still have a half-decent sort of tower here, whereas this tower seems more like it's out in the sticks. It's further away. So it is believable that this one here might be a bit rougher. I must admit though, after seeing it in just plain limestone, I really, really like limestone. The clay bricks, they look neat. But sometimes we don't want it to look neat, do we? Sometimes we just want it to look like it was thrown together in a weekend. So now it's time to plan tower number 3. Now I've been contemplating how exactly we're going to do this tower. For a moment there I was thinking we might just build a little tower as we have everywhere else, and then just cover this up and leave it. Though I feel that's just not good enough. It just feels too cheap for me. I often find that when we're here mining, we don't get a lot of work done. There is too much back and forth on a regular basis to actually get any sort of real damage done to the mine. And in the past, the alternative to this is by building some sort of shelter as I did here when we were mining all this out, or as I did down here for the lower mine. So while they were building the other towers, I was having a bit of a think and a bit of a play in my head, and I've come up with a solution that solves all my problems with this tower. I'm going to combine the tower with some form of a living quarters for this area. Now, it's not going to be anything overly special. It's just going to be a few beds, maybe a place to store some food. But it really will solve our problem when it comes to this mine. Now, once again, as you can see, we're almost spent when it comes to limestone. We're down to 39. The rocky soil I dug out of here, each block only contained about 6 limestone, whereas real limestone deposits contain about 60 limestone, as you can see here. So the plan is pretty straightforward. I'm going to build the living quarters first. That way, they've got a place to live while we actually mine out the resources needed to build the rest of this tower. So let's start planning it out. Now, you're probably all sitting there going, yes, but you're still going to have the same issue no matter what you do here with this aqueduct not being able to build underneath. And that is true. I am going to have that same issue. The way I'm going to get around that is the aqueduct is actually going to be a part of the tower. It's going to run through the tower. That way, 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, I'm going to try and do it in such a way that I don't ruin the look, but it will add a little something interesting to this tower, I think. Now, in my usual fashion, I actually have no idea how this is all going to work. I'm just sort of going to throw a few bricks down, have a bit of a look, and work it out from there. But some of my best work's been done like that. So we're going to call this the ground level. This will be one of the main living quarters. Now, the way they're going to enter the ground level, both via the outside of the tower, and they will enter via a door that I'll place here or here, somewhere on the T.I.T.S. So they'll be able to enter their living quarters. Now, you're probably wondering, will the tower contain 2 doors entering it as I have in the other towers? Yes and no. So up here, where the main tower is, yes, there will be 2 doors entering the tower as I have done on the other 2 towers. Because if there's only 1 door, once they break that down, there'll be nothing in between the archers and the enemy itself. So you have, once again, the 2 doors. They'll break the first one down. We'll evacuate the tower into the T.I.T.S. before they get through the second door. But as for the living quarters downstairs, nobody's going to be in there during the fight. So if they break through the door, they're just into a living quarters. There's nothing in there for them. And then they'll still have to break down a door to get into the T.I.T.S., at which point we will have already evacuated the top tower and be escaping through the T.I.T.S. And then once they break into the T.I.T.S. itself, we'll be long past the internal door of the T.I.T.S. and they'll still have to get through there. And we'll be well and truly back in Castle Sterlington before they even get to us. So I know that the tower on top, I'm going to try and keep it about the same as what I've done everywhere else. And then, with the living quarters, I'm actually going to have a secondary tower. So we're going to have to do this section here bit by bit, because I'm going to have to remove bits and pieces of the aqueduct. I don't want it to just all fall apart and then flood the area, and yes, I don't want to make an issue of this. I want it to be clean and easy. Now, ground floor, I think I'm going to make it the width of these pillars here on the aqueduct. The tower itself will still be the same size as we've done elsewhere, but to make room for the beds, this section here needs to be a little bit larger. So what we'll do is we're going to put limestone block walls here, and then here, and here. Fantastic. We're also going to then remove this limestone block arch first. We can then build a wall across, and then we can remove the other limestone block arch. And in that way, at least one is supporting the weight at any given moment. Now we'll need to no doubt add a ladder for them to get up there to delete it. Now we'll just continue this wall out here, like so. We'll need to delete that wall banner and that one there. We'll continue this wall out and here as well. And now we'll just delete a few of these. And there we go. They've got plenty of work to keep them busy for 5 minutes. So let's hit play and let them get to work. And there we go. That's the living quarters now complete. As you see, the ground floor is a dining room over here with a food pantry in the rear. I've made these fireplaces in the rear of the dining room and I'm quite impressed with it. I really like them. Now, the way you enter the living quarters via the T.I.T.S is you come up the T.I.T.S here to this platform here, to which then you can enter either this door or this door into the actual living quarters. Otherwise, you can continue up the stairs on the T.I.T.S to the top tower. To go to the different levels of the living quarters, you just veer off up these stairs here and into the next floor, which the next floor is the bedrooms. As you can see, I've managed to fit in 4 bedrooms in this area. Then you continue up these wooden stairs here and into the next area, which houses a shared bedroom and an entertainment area with backgammon and a place to pray. And then on top, as I mentioned before, a defendable position, a little low tier tower. Everything the settlers need and want. Perfect. Now it's time to start the third tower. So once again, sit back, grab a cold one and cue the music. And there we go. That's now the entire mining outpost now complete. I like the layout. I'm not 100% sold on the double-toned limestone and limestone blocks. At the time, I thought maybe it might be a good idea, but as I said, not 100% sold. As you can see, the layout for the tower is basically the same as the other two, just with a slight variation. They come down a flight of stairs on the west side here, and they exit a level below. Other than that, same layout. I must admit, I am looking forward to having a bit of a spat using this tower. It's going to be a bit of fun, something different. Though that will have to wait for another episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.